What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is not a surprise that the economy is starting to collapse. It's no shock that the unemployment rate is trending upward. And as we all know, the economy is going to get worse and the American people are going to suffer even more before it gets better. Well, experts are calling for stimulus today. They say we cannot wait. Joe Biden needs to push for stimulus as quickly as possible. But at the same time, they understand Joe Biden does not have any power at this point. Joe Biden cannot sign anything. He is not the president. He is not the president for another 2 days. So right now, experts are calling on Joe Biden and saying Joe Biden is a failure. Well, right now, Joe Biden can't do a thing. It's all on President Trump, it's all on Nancy Pelosi, and it's all on Mitch McConnell. Those are our three current leaders. Now, here's what we do know. Here's what the Biden administration is talking about as their priorities moving forward. And this is key. All this stuff is extremely important, so make sure you watch this entire video. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and colleagues over on Facebook as well, so they too can stay updated. But here's what we know. Right now, the priorities for the Biden administration as of today and moving forward are getting the American people vaccinated. That's priority number one. Priority number two, finally opening up schools. This will allow children to get back to their normal lives, and it has been proven that that children going to school does not actually spread the virus as long as they're wearing masks and as long as the ventilation is adequate. If one of those two things is not there, then yes, the case numbers will increase. But this will also allow parents to get back to work, which is also a key factor, because if parents cannot get back to work and businesses cannot open because they do not have employees, then how does the economy fully open up? And right now, what we are hearing is that right now we want to see the economy open completely, 100% open by summer. By summer. That's in like 5 months. That's pretty optimistic. That's a big goal. But could we hit it? That's what they're asking. Also, another very important priority for the Biden administration is to provide quick relief to struggling small businesses. This is something that's currently going on right now through the SBA. The problem is with the SBA, they're a little slow getting out some of these PPP program loans. And in addition to that, the EIDL loan program, they're currently saying it's not even open, that it's not available. We might not see a potential $1,000 or up to $10,000 business grant. And this is for those small businesses with those potential side hustles like eBay, Uber, Lyft, things like that, selling crafts at a craft fair. Those would all be eligible for a potential $1,000 to $10,000 grant. As of right now, that's not going to happen. We also know getting direct payments out to those families who have no income is a key priority, not only for Joe Biden and some Democrats, but also Republicans as well. But right now, people like Senate Democrat Joe Manchin, here's what they're saying. They're saying that Joe Biden is only going to consider passing a larger stimulus package and provide direct payments to the American people if it's more targeted to those individuals and those businesses. Well, here's the issue. Joe Biden doesn't want to see billions of dollars in stimulus go to those that do not need it. Go to businesses that have not seen a drop in income. Go to people that do not need additional money. Go to individuals that already have savings or have some type of fallback plan. He doesn't want large corporations to simply make bank through this pandemic simply because they are able to get these relief program loans or a stimulus check. He doesn't want that. What we are hearing is that the rich will pay for the unfortunate to get back on their feet. So if you're rich, you have a lot of money, you could potentially be paying a lot more in taxes, and this will eventually get the unfortunate back on their feet. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is that these $2,000 stimulus checks are going to be just that. They're going to be no more than $2,000. A lot of people have been speculating, I was one of them as well, until you really dig in and research to figure out what's going on. right now, all indications are we are going to have a $1,400 stimulus check if it does get approved. The $2,000 check in addition to the $600 that many people have already received, that's pretty much off the table. That's not going to happen. But here's what I want you to understand. A lot of people still have not received those $600 stimulus checks. There's roughly 10 million people out there that have not received a $600 second stimulus check simply because the IRS screwed them over once again. So if you are one of those people, just understand the checks are hopefully on their way. But if not, you can go and get the recovery rebate check once you file your federal income taxes here in 2021. But here's the other issue. The IRS, being that they're so backlogged, they decided we're not going to let people file their federal income taxes on February 1st like many people were expecting to do. No, we're just going to wait and you can file on February 12th. So an additional 12 days. Well, you know what can happen in 12 days? People can die because they go hungry. They don't have anything to eat. There's no nutrition. They can die because of COVID. Or they could be evicted from their homes. Those are three big things, three very important things that right now the IRS is like, nah, the American people will be fine. We got to push it back another 12 days so that we can get our office in order and we can get everything just the way we need it, so that when those applications start coming in or those tax returns, we can handle those in a timely manner. Well, we'll see what happens. Now, a lot of reports out today are indicating that the most likely outcome at this point is Nancy Pelosi is going to put the Cash Act back on the floor of the House. And I want to bring this up because this is very important. Nancy Pelosi put it on the floor of the House and it was voted on, it was passed. Right now, what has to happen is this bill has to go back to the House. It has to pass through the House again because it's a new Congress. It expired with the old Congress, the 116th. It has to go back to the House in order to get passed by the 117th Congress. Well, everyone anticipates it would get passed. And then Chuck Schumer, he would be able to put this on the floor of the Senate once he actually takes control. He is not the majority leader at this point. He will be. He is not at this point. So when this gets put on the floor of the House and the Senate, we don't know. Some are speculating that we could see this happen this week, but there's still a lot of things that have to happen in order for this to actually go through. So we will see what happens not only this week, but most likely over the next 2 weeks. The Cash Act will probably end up on the floor of the House and be there for a vote. So we will see. Now, I know millions of people are currently hurting, and right now something has to change, and it has to happen now. Economists are saying the economy is collapsing, that we are in a full-on collapse. We are in a bubble. The stock market is going to burst. Housing is going to crumble. We're going to see all this stuff happen very soon. Jobs are hard to come by. Millions can't put food on their table. Rent is getting further and further behind. And without additional stimulus, these people will never get caught up. They will never be back on their feet. That's what economists are saying. And not just one economist. That's what some top economists are saying right now. And it is because of this that the $1.9 trillion stimulus package must pass now. They're saying we cannot wait. Congress doesn't have the luxury to wait around and see what will happen. They did this before. They do not have the luxury to have this happen again. We know the economy is struggling. Because of that, the American people are struggling right along with it. And the shocking thing happening over the last few days, or probably a little bit longer than that, is some Democrats and multiple Republicans are actually saying we need to pause and reevaluate where we're at. We need to pause. Remember who said that? Remember who said we need to wait and see? That was Mitch McConnell. He said this back in June. And guess what happened? Nothing got done. Nothing got done. And we waited about 7 months. We saw the economy collapse right in front of our eyes. And now we're at about 400,000 deaths due to COVID. And we're in the worst few months of this pandemic. But yet, where's Congress? Many are saying we should pause and determine which people and which legislation would be the best way to move forward. What would be the best bang for our buck is what multiple Democrats are currently saying. Well, economists are saying just push it all through. Push through trillions of dollars and we will figure it out in the future. There is less risk by providing more stimulus But there is too much more of a downside if we provide too little. This is the exact same thing that Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said just about a month ago, that it is riskier to provide too little, and it would be better to provide more than is actually needed. Now, here's the shocking news for today. According to Bloomberg, they predict the only way this package gets passed with 10 Republicans on board is to get this package under $1 trillion. Yes, under $1 trillion. This means that all the stimulus that we are currently talking about could be off the table, or a majority of it could be off the table. It would be much smaller, and that means there would be less relief to the American people. So those $1,400 stimulus checks could be gone, or could be much smaller. The money for rental assistance might not even be included. The money for schools, money for other things, other top priorities that Democrats said they needed, that could be off the table. But here's what we know. Based on what I was outlining earlier in this video, where I talked about the current Biden administration priorities, let's just dig into that, because that will play a major role into actually what we see. Here's what we know. One of the top priorities was vaccine distribution funding. Well, we know that's about $160 billion that they allocated to that in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Okay. Then we got school funding. We know schools need to open, they need better ventilation, they need PPE, they need all this stuff, right? Well, this would provide their parents to go back to work and it would open up the economy. Great, that's exactly what's needed. Well, that's $170 billion. And then we know Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have been adamant saying that we need to have state and local government funding. Well, how much was included in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package for state and local government funding? Well, $350 billion. So let's take those three top priorities, let's add those together. That already takes us to $680 billion. $680 billion of the reportedly estimate of what Republicans would pass at $1 trillion. That leaves us with $320 billion. Now, if we add in the additional $1,400 stimulus checks to those that previously received a stimulus check that's $600, and this would exclude adult dependents, this would also exclude high-income earners. This would most likely exclude people that have or family members of ITIN holders. This would cost $450 billion. Well, that puts us right there at $1.13 trillion. That's higher than Republicans currently want. So, this is where negotiations are going to start. Let's figure out the price tag. And this is where Democrats and Republicans butted heads before. Because Nancy Pelosi said, no, we need to figure out exactly what's going to be in the bill. She said the price doesn't matter. It does not matter. But Republicans were like, the price matters. Let's start with the price and let's work backwards. And this is where they're going to butt heads again, because right now, these are just four priorities that Democrats currently want. And right now, it exceeds what Republicans are willing to do. Based on a new report that was out this afternoon, here's what we know. It indicates that the budget reconciliation process, it takes far too long to actually complete, and this would delay stimulus quite a bit. This is why Joe Biden, this is according to reports, Joe Biden does not want to do a budget reconciliation because he understands how long it takes. Because the way it works, and again, this I haven't done all the research on it, but this is what I know as of right now. The way a budget reconciliation works is every single committee will have to redo their budget to make the numbers work. Well, when every single committee does that, and they have to all write a different bill for that, for their own committee. Once that happens, they take all those bills and then they write a new bill, and pretty much an omnibus bill, and put them all together. And that's what takes so long, especially at this point. And with the new administration coming in, this could be chaos. And this is reportedly why Joe Biden doesn't want to do this. Instead, he wants to pass a bipartisan package. Now, this isn't the only hurdle, though. This is the problem. A month ago, Democrats were all united. They were all on board. Let's go to the moon. Let's do $10 trillion. That's an exaggeration. But they were saying, let's do $2.4 trillion in stimulus. We need it. Let's get it. Well, that was a month ago. Now, they're like, you know what? $1.9 trillion is just too much. We can't spend that. We just can't spend that. And so what they're doing now is they're somewhat divided in their own party. Now we're hearing Democrats want to provide less money. They want to really target the people who receive the funds. They want to target the individual businesses who will get some of that relief. And this is exactly what Republicans were trying to do a while back. But Democrats said, no, we need larger stimulus. The larger stimulus that we should have passed should have been months ago. Now, it should even be even bigger because we haven't seen anything for however many months. Even though we just passed a $900 billion stimulus package, that's peanuts compared to what economists say we actually need. Right now, the Biden administration can't do a thing. And I just want to reiterate this. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I want to mention it again. The Biden administration cannot do a thing. They still have 2 more days before they can sign executive orders. The Senate comes back tomorrow. We should start to see something happening over the next few days. But I just want to reiterate, right now, we're still in limbo. President Trump has pretty much checked out. Mitch McConnell is pretty much waiting for Chuck Schumer to take over his leadership role. Nancy Pelosi is pretty much on vacation, kind of. And right now, Joe Biden is just waiting to check into his new hotel at the White House. So that's what we know right now. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing. Also, share this video with your friends and family over on Facebook so they too can stay updated on everything that's going on. Just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.